Hey magical sparks, welcome back to my channel. It's Sparkle, and today I have something very exciting to show you guys. And not only is it exciting, but it's also super nostalgic because about this time last year I tried Arrtx's 24 Simptap acrylic marker set, and today Arrtx has kindly sent me some more art supplies to try out. So let's have a look. By the way, today I'm going to be completely experimenting with my art style. We're going to be trying some different techniques and styles, and it's just going to have a very different look, and I am super excited to show you guys that as well. Anyways, this video is going to be jam-packed with lots of fun, so as always, feel free to grab your sketchbook and draw along as well. And with that, let's get started. And already, oh my gosh, look at these aesthetic color combinations. Okay, let me not get ahead of myself, and let's take it step by step. Starting it off with the 36 color set. By the way, both these sets have acrylic paint markers inside. I'm gonna be honest, the very first thing that stunned me immediately was that this box has adorable packaging, and not only that, but it has glitter. Like, just look at it sparkling, look at it shimmering. Isn't that so gorgeous? It looks absolutely beautiful in real life, and both these marker sets match perfectly with the theme of my desk. But of course, we don't judge a book by its cover, so let's have a look at the markers inside. Oh my gosh, look at the glitter. Seriously, it is so beautiful. Anyways, here are all the colors that we get in this set. 36 colors. And check it out, you can actually bend back this part here to actually help your markers stand on their own. I think that's pretty convenient. Also, there's glitter on the inside, which is just, oh my gosh, so pretty. Anyways, let's look at the actual markers. And of course, with me being who I am, I went for the light purple, which by the way looks gorgeous. And here is how the marker looks. We've got some instructions, we can see the ink on the inside, and of course we've got the Simptap name. And look at this brush nib, it looks so nice, and it comes to a very nice fine point. But the reason it's white is because the markers still need to be activated, and we will do that very soon. But just before that, let's open up our 48 color set. This color combination is pure perfection. Not only is it amazing, but the glitter just makes it look 10 times better. Anyways, before I get distracted, here are the colors that we get in the set. We can see them all on the back, along with some instructions when it comes to how to activate the markers and some tips and things to keep in mind. By the way, I just want to take a moment to put these two boxes side by side and ask you guys, how beautiful is this color combination? Because the pink and the aqua and the purple together just look so amazing. Come on, you have to agree. Anyways, moving on, let's have a look at the markers inside. So this marker set has 12 more markers than our previous set. However, there is still only 2 metallic markers, which is the silver and the gold, just to keep in mind. And there's also still 1 black and 1 white. And later on, when we begin our swatching, we can have a deeper look at the differences in the colors between the two sets. But until then, let's have a look at the marker itself. So the marker looks the same as before. It still needs to be activated, which we'll be doing soon. But yeah, here's how it looks, and again, the brush tip comes to a very nice, very fine brush tip point. By the way, I was genuinely curious to see the differences between last year's Simptap set and this year's Simptap sets. So let's have a look. This is from 2023, it is the 24 color Simptap marker set, and here are the colors on the back. So the cardboard itself is very thin for this one, it's more flexible, and for this one, on the other hand, it's really stiff, like you can actually hear the difference. That's definitely a great thing because it feels a lot more sturdier. And now it's time for the real comparison, so I'm gonna try to put together 2 of the same markers from the different sets and to see the difference. And you know what? There isn't much of a difference. They look practically the same. The only difference is that the new marker has a cap on the back. And that's basically it. Other than that, they are exactly the same. You know, that is for the fact that the old one has been activated and the new one is yet to be activated. But of course, we will get to that very soon. However, I realized just before I started swatching that there's actually something inside the box. So I managed to get one piece of paper out, then I could see another one, but I was struggling to get it out. but eventually I managed to get it out. And my friends, here is what we've got. Firstly, we've got a very sweet thank you card from Arrtx, and secondly, we've got a piece of paper with some instructions on how to use and handle the Simptap markers, which I think is definitely very, very useful. Anyways, with all that being said, done, seen, here and been, and whatever else, it is time for the best part now, which is swatching. So of course, let's get started. Now I'll admit I was very excited at first, but that was before I realized the fact that I'm swatching not just 1 or 2 markers, but I need to activate and swatch 48 plus 36 markers, which is a lot, but hopefully it will be satisfying for you to watch because it was definitely so satisfying for me to do. Anyways, let's get started. So we are going to be starting off with our 36 color set, just to start it off nice and simple, that is. And let's start off by activating the white marker first, because I'm going to be using the back of the box to kind of guide me with how I'm going to swatch my marker colors. So of course, that means first on the list is white. So firstly, I shook it nice and well just to make sure it was shaken up. And then I took off the cap and pressed the marker down for a while. And after some continuous pressing, as you can see, the ink started to flow through. And here is how it looks on a different colored piece of paper. And as you can see, it is like really opaque, like really, really opaque. And I honestly felt really comfortable using the brush nib, because sometimes when it comes to specific markers, such as for example cheaper markers like brush markers that you buy for just a couple of dollars, you have to be more careful with them to make sure that the nib doesn't fray. Like for example Tombow markers, like when you're doing calligraphy, you have to be gentle with them, otherwise there is a chance that if you press too hard that the nibs will fray. But with these markers, I felt like I could just kind of use them freely because the nibs were actually quite strong, and because of that I just felt a lot more comfortable and free when I was using them. Also, don't make the mistake that I made, because I think I pressed too much or too fast or for too long. But yeah, as you can see, the ink started dripping out. It's an easy fix, but just be aware that you need to be gentle with these markers and patient. And of course, you can learn from my mistake, because I did not make that mistake again. Also, for you guys, I have got some close-up shots of activating the marker because I think it looks quite satisfying. And here's how it looked. So it took me a couple of seconds to activate each marker, and I got some help from my family, so I managed to activate all of them fairly quickly so that I could get onto the swatching to see how the colors looked. And I just want to say this marker set has a lot of pretty colors, especially the pastel colors. They're just so gorgeous and so pretty, and in a couple of seconds you'll see exactly what I mean. Until then, feel free to enjoy the swatching process. Also, in case you're wondering, to answer your question or to answer the question of the person who is watching this video at exactly the same time that you are, the marker is amazing because the caps do fit on the back. I know some people will love it when the caps can fit on the back of the markers, and guess what? With this set, you can do it. Anyways, it's time to swatch our 48 color set. So now, just going off what I can see by eye, I would say that the main difference between these two sets is that the 48 set seems to have just a couple more colors when it comes to pink and purplish tones. It also looks like it has some other green colors and some blue colors as well. But if you have any observations, feel free to share them in the comments. Also, the caps of the markers did end up falling into the box, which was not expected, but yeah, it was an easy fix because I just had to take it out and pop them back on the markers. Anyways, here is the final look at all the colors we get in these sets. I think the bird sets have a really good variety of colors. I mean, I see a lot of browns and a lot of skin tones, and also obviously a lot of greens and blues and purples, and I think overall it's really great. There's lots of colors, and let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But the best markers in the set definitely have to be the metallic silver and the metallic gold, because they are definitely really metallic because they're so shiny and so gorgeous, especially in sunlight. Also, I made some mini little thingies with air dry clay, and I want to show them to you. So here is the very first thing. It's a mini trinket dish, and for the little sparkles and the black part of the heart, I used my Arrtx acrylic markers, and for the inside golden lining, I used my Prismacolor metallic marker. And for our little pumpkin here, I colored the entire thing using only the Simptap markers, and I also added some gold speckles, which look so shiny and so sparkly, and I love it. I know it's a bit too early because we're not at Halloween yet, but still, I think we can get festive anytime we want. And now it's time for one of the best parts of this video, which is the drawing process, because this drawing is going to be so different to the rest of my drawings. And very soon, you'll see why. Now, normally I have a very specific concept in mind. I know exactly what I want. I know exactly what I'm going for. I know exactly what type of colors I want to use. And basically, I know everything because I've mapped out the entire process in my head. But today I thought, let's just kind of go with the flow. So I had like some general ideas in my mind. For example, I knew that I wanted the character to be holding something in her hand. I also knew that I wanted to give the character a very simple pose, a very calm, serene expression. I really wanted to make her look like a goddess. I wanted to give her some really unnaturally high volume hair. I wanted to make it look kind of wavy, almost with some curls here and there. And I wanted to give her a very puffy dress, and I was planning to draw jewelry, which is not something that I do very often. And also I wanted to actually challenge myself by telling myself to design and draw an entire background behind the character, which was definitely one of the more interesting parts of this challenge, because it was something that, let's say, kept my brain very, very active, partially because I didn't know exactly how it was going to turn out, and partially because I was worried that it might not turn out well. But with all the suspense aside, let's keep going. Now, I could just tell you guys if it turned out well or not, but why rush into it? Of course, let's just take our time, enjoy the process, and find out towards the end. What I can say though is that I really enjoyed the sketching process because drawing the hair was genuinely lots of fun. Also, who remembers last year when I tried out the 24 Simptap marker set and I went for a different type of style and it turned out looking really, really cool? Well, today we're going to be doing something kind of like that. So I have some different techniques in mind that I want to try, and also we're going for mostly a no line art type of look. There will be some line art here and there, but it will be mainly done using other art supplies like pencils, for example, and things like that. So it's going to be different, and I am just so excited to show you guys how it goes. And you know what? Look at that. With all that excitement going through, we are actually done with our sketch. Here's how it turned out. Here's how it looks. Now, the sketch itself looks good, but let's see how it looks once I start coloring. Now, one thing I do want to say is that I was super duper excited to color in this drawing, because once I finished the sketch, I kind of had this idea in my mind, and I did some experimenting on a separate piece of paper, and I figured out an idea for the hair, and I thought it would look super duper cool. And because of that, I really wanted to color in the hair first, but instead I decided to go with the skin because, like I've been saying a lot in my videos, once you get the skin looking good, the rest is basically smooth sailing. And not just that, one thing with these acrylic markers is, say that you mess something up, even if you mess it up, you can easily cover it in just a couple of minutes, and you can just go over it and just correct it and do whatever you want. So that was just really nice, just knowing that there is like actually no way to mess this up, because no matter what I do that I don't like, I can just cover it up and start again, which was definitely a very reassuring feeling. I remember I posted a video this year where I tried out the Arrtx acrylic markers, like the acrylic paint pens, and I was drawing a fairy, and I drew the wings in a way where I didn't like them, so I could just easily cover it up completely with the acrylic paint pens and just start again, and that was just a really nice feeling, you know? Anyways, I want to take this chance to talk about the markers. So in my opinion, these markers are actually really good because, let me just put this out there, these are acrylic paint pens, right? They are not just paint pens, they are acrylic paint pens, which means they have lots of advantages. The very first thing being that you can use them on multiple surfaces. As you can see, I used them on air dry clay, and I have used them to paint on wood before, and it works really well. They're also waterproof, and I have this little letter S on my desk that I decorated with my Arrtx paint pens, not the Simptap ones, but just the general Arrtx paint pens, and that has lasted for a long time, and in my videos you can always see it on my desk. It's still there and it's still in good shape. Not just that, but I also love the nibs of these Simptap markers. They are really sturdy and they're really flexible, which is really nice, so you can easily color in smaller areas and larger areas as well. Also, if your markers feel dry, if you just kind of shake them a bit and then press on the knob at the back, that kind of helps the ink to come through and then the markers start working well again. I've also noticed that these markers seem to have a lot of ink in them because I'm still using my 24 set and the markers are all still working. Other than that, I love the packaging. The box is very sturdy compared to last year's look, and also the box has glitters. I mean, come on, it just looks so beautiful. The color palette is super aesthetic, and you can also fold back the top of the box to kind of help make a stand, so you can just put the marker box on your desk and easily access your markers. I also like that the cap fits on the back of the marker and that you can actually see the ink inside the marker from the side of the barrel. So these are all my pros, and now here are some things where I think taking into consideration other factors would be nice. So I think it would be really great if this set came with a swatch card. I think that would be definitely a really great way to just have your marker colors as reference, like within the actual marker set, like Arrtx does for many of their alcohol markers. I think that would be great. But of course, it's super easy to fix that because you can just make your own little mini swatch card and pop it inside the box as well. Other than that, something else that I noticed was that the little protective cap at the back of the markers did keep on falling off sometimes, like it fell into the box and it was a bit hard to get out. But yeah, other than that, the set is really good. I love the markers, I love the way they work, the ink is super juicy, the colors are amazing, and I loved it. I felt like I could do a lot with these markers, and like I said before, you have the option to literally undo your mistakes. Like, it's traditional art and you have that option, and that is so cool. Also, I love acrylic paint. Don't get me wrong, I genuinely love acrylic paint. However, sometimes I don't really have the energy to set up some water, get my paintbrush, get a tissue, get my paint palette, grab my paints and start painting, and then clean everything up. So at times like these, I find that maybe having acrylic markers is just a little more easier, because if you think about it, all you have to do is grab the marker box, open it, use your markers, make your masterpiece, put the markers back in the box, and you're done. It's just a lot more easier as well. By the way, the company has provided me with some links to these products, which I will be adding in the description of this video. But if you'd like to find out more about these markers, also feel free to head over to the Arrtx website as well. And with that, I want to talk a little bit about this drawing. So firstly, it was super satisfying to use the markers. As you can see, they are working beautifully. And secondly, I had so much fun coloring in this almost like cotton candy fairy floss inspired hair. I think it looks so gorgeous and so pretty. However, once I finished coloring the hair, I was like really confused on what color I wanted to make the background and the dress, because obviously I wanted to match, and at the same time I wanted to contrast as well. Thankfully, there were some darker pinks and some darker purples that matched well, so I ended up using those. I went with a really kind of detailed pattern for the dress, and honestly, it looks a bit like all over the place, but that's really why I love it. It just looks so spontaneous and so fun, which was honestly how it felt to make this drawing. It was just super spontaneous and super fun. And you know what? Believe it or not, halfway through the process of coloring this drawing, I was completely in the zone. Like, I wasn't even thinking about what I was doing. I was just coloring and adding a bunch of colors and layering and shading and adding patterns and just doing a bunch of random stuff, because this was super duper satisfying for me to do. It was super duper fun, and overall it was a really enjoyable process, and I really want to do it again very, very soon. If not for anything else, I will definitely be doing it for this gorgeous metallic paint pen, because look at how shiny and shimmery and sparkly it is. By the way, if you've managed to watch this far into the video without skipping or fast forwarding, thank you so much. It really means a lot to me. And if you'd like to let me know that you made it this far, feel free to comment this emoji down below. Thank you so much once again. And now this drawing was definitely the definition of trust the process, because it required me to genuinely trust the process. Because once I did the sketch, I wasn't sure how the drawing was going to turn out, since I didn't do line art first, and since the acrylic markers could change anything at any point in time. It was definitely a trust the process type of case. So the time where it really came together was when I finally got the chance to grab out my pencils, my sharpener, my white gel pen, and a couple of ballpoint pens to go ahead and add some details to my drawing. Because once I did that, I felt a lot more confident, because I could see the drawing coming together really well. But hold on, don't let go of your curiosity, because there's still the background that needs to be done. Also, this is really random, but I got this adorable Sanrio inspired sharpener a couple of days ago, and this is probably the best sharpener I have ever used in my life, because look at how well it sharpened the pencil. Like, it's so sharp, it could practically make a hole on a piece of paper. Like, it's that sharp. And and at the same time, it didn't break. It really held its shape well. I'm impressed. Anyways, it's time to add those white gel pen highlights, some shading and outlining with our pencils and ballpoint pens, and now I'm ready to start working on the background. So my concept for the background was that I wanted to draw a sky, specifically a night sky with cotton candy colored clouds. So that way it would match the hair and match the dress as well. And then around that, I wanted to have an arch frame in the same pink color that I used for the dress so that I can kind of tie the entire drawing together. Now, my biggest concern here was about contrast, but I think at the end of the day, it ended up looking quite cool. And of course, we cannot forget our beautiful silver metallic pen because look at it glowing. So for the back, I wanted to kind of give the frame almost like a wood texture. So I did that by firstly covering the entire thing with a lighter pink, and then I took a darker pink to kind of just draw some squiggly lines and give it that wood-like texture, which I think worked quite well. And then I grabbed this beautiful pastel blue and I used it to add some leaves along these lines to kind of make it look like vines or like a plant is growing there, and it looks so pretty. This is honestly better than I ever could have expected. And finally, to answer the question of this day, did this drawing fail or pass? I think it definitely passed. It exceeded my expectations and I had an amazing time making it. So even if it did fail, I would not care. This was genuinely super duper fun. I enjoyed every single part of this process and I'm so proud of how the drawing turned out. And now we're signing it off, and I think we all know exactly what that means. It is time for the grand reveal. And voila, here is how our drawing turned out. I am so proud of it. I love the entire process. I love how the drawing turned out. And as my mom suggested, this character looks like she was made to live in this beautiful forest background, which is my desk mat. Anyways guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What do you think of this drawing and what do you think of the markers? Sending out a very big thank you to Arrtx for sending me your art supplies to try out. I genuinely had an amazing time using them and I will definitely be using them in the future as well. Anyways guys, that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys all enjoy the drawing and I hope you guys all have a fabulous day. Stay awesome as always, and I'll see you all in the very next video. Until then, stay happy, stay sparkling, and never stop smiling. Bye!